Hey, it's Wellness Wednesday. Wellness Wednesday. Ah, I don't know why they put me on live, y'all. It's ridiculous. Hey, y'all. How are you? How are you? Hello, hello, hello. Good to be in the presence of the Lord here again. I am ridiculous. I know. How are you? It's Wellness Wednesday. I'm super excited. I'm coming to you with a lesson that I learned this AM, okay? I pulled cards. So I'm doing my first ever challenge, which is really dope. And it's like a 5-day love yourself challenge. I offered it to my community free of charge. And I did it. I put it out there and I didn't know what I was doing, y'all. I was like, I'm gonna just put it out there and see what happens. And it's been amazing. It's been more than what I could ever have imagined. And I've been pulling cards every day on live. So I was like, let me pull a card before this live. Just because I don't know, that's what I'm in the habit of doing this week. And I pulled the exact same card from last night, which is crazy. I'm patient knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. And so I got to talk about it because this is all up in the stuff in the fields. I woke up this AM because I have been feeling this pull, this certain pull. Excuse me. I'm going to do it. Y'all know I said I was going to share. I've been feeling this pull in two different directions, and I feel like they're aligning themselves. And that leaves me in this situation of patiently waiting. A lot of times when we are wanting to excel, go to the next level, reach another pinnacle, we always, think about the ebbs and the flows of getting to the next level. Not often do we. Here we go. I'm sharing. It's Wellness Wednesday. Wellness Wednesdays. Wellness Wednesday. I guess today is one day, so it could be Wellness Wednesday. It's shared. So a lot of times we talk about the ebbs and flows of change, but there's like this period. I call it the waiting room. It's like you asked to get healed. Healing is right here, and like you're right here in the waiting room. And in the waiting room, things can go up, they can go down, they can be like real I don't want to say stagnant. We talked about that last night in the challenge. Like a lot of the times it's not even, people make rest seem messed up, right? Like sometimes we feel like we're stagnant, but the universe is just like, baby, you need to rest. And rest is productive, even though it may be a stagnant energy to some of us because we're not moving. So there's this waiting period between where we are, where we want to be, and the actions that we're taking to get there. You can take actions and they start to like rev up, but there's like this waiting period. And so I feel very peculiar this week because everything that I've manifested is literally right here. But I'm just waiting. Like the Sprinter van's outside. I just got to get it fixed. I was like, I'm going digital. And the funny thing is that I think the universe is putting me in the waiting room right now. And that's why everything's like this. Because if the van was ready, right now, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't sit my butt down. All right. I would have been driving across country like, oh, I can work in the van. And so I think my van is purposely broke down so that I could be in my waiting room. But the waiting room gets interesting because you have all these things. You're right there. You see the weight loss. It's like when you're losing weight and you're doing everything you're supposed to do and you just plateau. And you're like, what is this? It's the waiting room. You're in the waiting room, and there's so many lessons to be in the waiting room. It's a phenomenal space. It's a part of the journey, but oftentimes we get in the mud about it. The waiting room is what separates those who try and those who succeed. Because the waiting room will have you like, man, I'm giving up. I ain't about this life. I don't want to sit with the van in my yard broke down for 2 months. I don't want to do that. I don't want to continue to eat healthy and work out, and I've been plateaued at this weight for 2 months now. I don't want to do that. It's like the waiting room will have you feeling like, damn, I didn't did all this for nothing. But I feel like I needed more clarity on the waiting room, right? So I called my ex-lover and I asked him about stocks. Now he's been day trading. And if you guys, I know that I've been mentioning trading a lot because he was talking about trading every day. And I can talk to you about patterns and all these things. I've never traded one stock a day in my life. But my question was, when you have a stock and you are watching it, how do you know when the stock is about to push up and be bullish or push down and be bearish? A bullish stock means that it's about to push through the glass ceiling and go up, and a bearish stock means that it's about to push down and go down. So that's like if you're in the plateau weight here, it's like if your weight loss is bullish, it goes up, and if it's bearish, then it'll come down. But in weight loss, that would be opposite because your success would be losing weight. So you losing weight would push up, you gaining weight would drop down. I hope that makes sense. And he said something so profound to me. He said that when a stock is a bullish stock, you have to sit back, be patient, and wait to see the patterns. And when the patterns are reading to you that the lows are high lows, that it's probably going to be bullish. But if they're low lows, then it's probably going to be bearish. And what that means is that regardless in life, you're going to have lows. You're going to be in waiting rooms. You're going to have to wait. But if you are at a high low, meaning like if this is where you're normally at in life and you're pushing high and your low is right here, you're pretty bullish right there, right? Because this is like where you're at. So if you're pushing past where you're at right now in life and you're up here going like this and you experience a low right here, you're at a high low. All right? And that means you have a winning stock. You're about to push through and go up. I thought that was so profound because oftentimes we think that when we're successful in whatever we are doing in life, we're just successful and it's just a straight ride up, right? Like you're supposed to figure things out and they're supposed to click, and now I got it. And now we're good. But we don't consider our high lows. Those lows when you're fine, you're okay, you're grateful, but you're still in a waiting room. You're still trying to figure it out. Maybe you figured a lot of stuff out, but not that one little piece. I'm in a waiting period right now, which is interesting because I didn't know that this was a waiting area. until I move back home. But right now, I am in between the same weight that I was in high school. I'm around the same weight that I was when my parents got divorced, when I started having sex, when life got a little dark. By a little, I mean a lot. So I'm in this waiting period. And this is usually right around this weight is when my weight plateaus. Whew. Excuse me. These are not coincidences. When you're in a waiting room, you will see the signs. You'll be like, dang, I feel like I've been here before. Dang, why is it every time I get around this point, something happens? You could see it in your finances. How come, every time I get around that $70,000 mark, I recalibrate back. And this goes to internal thermostats, which also go to your identity. The waiting room, it will put you in a different identity. In the waiting room, you are shifting from a bear to a bull. But as long as you have high lows, then you know that whatever you're putting your money on, your stock, it's going to come through and raise the roof. This is so important in life as we're going through our journeys to health, because health is not just physical. It's not just losing weight. It's not just getting off the medication. But in order to do those things, you have to look at your spirit. You have to look at your soul. And a lot of times in the waiting room is deeper than the physicalities. It's deeper than the manifestation of the physical realm. It's deeper than those last 20 pounds you want to lose. A lot of the times in the waiting room, we have to go somewhere else. What's the storyline? What's the pattern? And that's why you have to be patient in the waiting room. You have to literally sit back and watch yourself. This period that I'm in is so interesting because I feel the most calm, the most grateful. I feel amazing, but I also feel like I'm in the waiting room. And for the first time, I'm not sick of it. For the first time, I'm proud of myself. And so this is how you'll know when you're in the waiting room. You'll be able to watch yourself and see if you're different or if you're not. The waiting room always brings out your true character. It's just like if you're at the doctor and you're in the waiting room for like 30 minutes, you're like, if you're impatient, it's going to come up. If you're in a rush, it's going to come up. If you have patience, if you're chilling, if you believe the news is good, if you believe the news is bad, like when you're in the waiting room waiting, stuff comes up and it'll show itself, okay? Crazy, it'll show itself. But that's what the waiting room is for. To be able to be patient enough to assess exactly where you're at. So take the opportunities that when you are down, maybe when you're not moving at full speed, when you feel like you're at a low, assess yourself. Are you in a waiting period? Is this waiting period calling you? Well, what is this waiting period calling you to do, to say? Is it to rest? Is it to let go of storylines? There are storylines that we tell ourselves. And if I've learned nothing else about the waiting room will reveal your storylines. If you feel like you are not a finisher, when you get in the waiting room, you will quit. If you feel like you're not worthy, when you get in the waiting room, you will self-sabotage. The waiting room will always rear to you who you truly are. When we are on this journey of healing, it's real cute. It's like, oh yeah, I've healed. I've done all the work. I'm done all the work. I've been a student. The healing journey has occurred. I've done the shadow work, the inner work. Yeah. That's real cute. But when you are in the face of adversity, who are you? And if you can answer and be that, then you'll know your true self. When you face adversity, you'll know if your healing has occurred. Are you still gossiping about people? Are you still blaming your mama? Are you still blaming anybody? Because if you blame anybody, child, whew. And not to say that like healing is a final destination, but the waiting room will show you where you're at in your journey. And here's a funny thing. The human brain is actually wired so that it makes us think we're doing better than what we're doing. This is crazy. This is my bear. There we go. That was getting on my nerves. It was very blurry. I still sleep with the bear, y'all. Y'all do that? Some quirky stuff y'all got going on. This is a bear that my father's friend gave me, and his name is Ellis, and I sleep with him. The reason why is because if you're a side sleeper, okay, I was about to say, he do got two eyes, y'all. If you're a side sleeper, you should sleep with something. Ooh, his eye look red, y'all. He been smoking. He been moking. Anyway, if you're a side sleeper, you should actually have a pillow in between your legs, a flatter pillow on your head, and something to put your arm on like this so that your shoulder doesn't concave onto your chest, because that actually makes your chest tight at night. So I only believe in having two pillows on my bed, but I need three mechanisms to sleep on my side when I sleep on my side. So he's my third, and I love him. Anyway, like I was saying, the human brain actually, it's wired and programmed to make you think that you're doing a better job than what you're doing. So, for instance, if you do not look at numbers and track things, you'll think that you're growing more, you're growing faster, you'll think that you're doing better. It's just the nature of your brain. It's not like you're a liar or, whatever people could say about you in the scenario. But literally, if you eat a salad on Tuesday, your brain is like, girl, we did good this week. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why assessment as humans is so important, because your brain like creates storylines. And I don't know why it's like that. I actually probably should research that, why our brains do that, but they do. They're always going to tell you you're doing better than you are. And so the only way that we override that is that's okay. That's when we have like when gossip comes in. Okay. So if you're talking about someone else and you are putting you against someone else or something else, if you're comparing yourself like, oh, how much you worked out, or um, you know, if you're gossiping about somebody, you're always going to put you above where you are. The other side of that is that we've been domesticated to have negative self-doubting thoughts about ourselves. This is the craziest brain frequency that it's like, I won't say it's normal or natural because it's not, but it's like where most people's brains are at, right? So your self-talk to you is like a lot of times very doubting, very negative. So when you talk to yourself, you tend to say negative things or doubt yourself until you rewire your brain to say good things. But when you talk to other people about yourself, your brain will wire it that you will do better. All right. So the externalness of that is that you're going to do better talking to someone unless you assess it. So this is why the waiting room can be such a pivotal point for most people, because it's a point where we can stop and assess where we're at. Anytime you're going to another level, whether it's financial, spiritual, physical, health-wise, there has to be moments of assessments, because our brains are tricky, okay? Because they're like untrained children walking around a train and they don't know what's going on. We actually have to train our brain to be better brains. And one of the best ways to do that is through assessment. So, the waiting room is an important part to your journey to assess, because if not, whether it's negative talk or positive talk, 9 times out of 10, your brain is lying to you. Therefore, you're lying to you. And it's not on purpose. I'm telling you right now, most people are not aware of this. And it's not, when people do it, they're not doing it on purpose. Like I see this all the time. Like, one great example is like our parents, right? Like our parents, they literally give us all they got for the most part. For all the parts, fuck the most part. Even if your parent shot you, if they left you outside, they didn't feed you, if they punched you every day in the face, they still gave you everything that they have. As human beings, we literally don't have much, because we're walking around with untrained brains. And when you have an untrained brain, it is, I won't say impossible, but merely impossible to have control over your thoughts and have control over the things that you do. That's why for us to be successful, one of the most important part is to change your identity, to change your mindset, and to change your habits. Because once you start really utilizing your brain and training it, it's a whole different ball game. It's like you having a dog that's untrained versus having a dog that is trained. When you have a dog that's untrained, he pisses and poops all over your house, and you're like, oh, we're going to have to get rid of this dude. Okay. Like, what is he doing? But if you train the dog and he can let himself out the door and go poop in the yard, you're like, oh, Rover is my best friend. Same thing with your brain. So not only is the waiting room important for the process, but is really important for you. The waiting room is where you're able to train your brain in order to get to this next level, because the next level requires so much out of us and we don't know what it is. Oh my God. Y'all know what happens when y'all see a job and it's real cute, the pay grade is cute, and you fill out the application and then you get it and you be like, what did I sign up for? That is the next level, okay? The next level will have you asking, like, what the hell did I sign up for? In the best way possible, because we do want it. But in order to get there, we have to change our storylines. And the perfect place to do that is in the waiting room. Have patience with yourself, okay? Be patient, be loving, be kind, and know that it's okay that you have lows. Just make sure that they're high lows. And even if they're not high lows, be patient enough for your bear to turn into a bull, because even that's a process. I hope y'all got that from the stock thing. Anyway, but that was the message that I had this AM, because I'm in the waiting room. And I remember when I used to be here and it was frustrating. I remember when I used to be here and I'd be like, okay, universe, I fucking get it. Can you just hurry up with these lessons? And although I'm waiting and it still does not feel like the best thing in the world, I still don't feel like, you know, I'm devouring a dessert platter over here. I don't feel bad. And that is a very high low, you know? So I wanted to share that with you guys, because I feel like it's something we just don't talk about a lot. We always talk about success and failure, but there's a journey to get to the success, and sometimes it freaking feels like failure. but it's not. You're just in your waiting room. Your stock is literally just at a high low, excuse me. It's at a high low. And sometimes the high lows feel low. And there's no way to change that. There's truly no way to change it. And you shouldn't want to, because in your high lows, that is the best time to assess so that you can change your identity, you can change your story, and you can change your habit, which will change your whole life. It's literally the life that you've been asking for. So, this is the card I pulled. I am patient, knowing that whatever is of the highest good is coming to me. The patience is the waiting room. So, tune in to your high lows. Befriend them. Wait. Be patient. You've done the work. You haven't gotten to the waiting room because you haven't done any work. The only way to make it to the waiting room is to do the work. Going back to the doctor, in order to get to the waiting room, you have to research the doctor. You have to schedule the appointment. You have to get your ass in the car. You got to drive. There is a work that has to be done to get to the waiting room. Don't discount that. You've done a lot of work to get here. So be patient. Have faith. Faith is knowing that without a doubt it's going to happen. You don't have any questions about the laws of gravity. So don't have any questions about the law of faith. If you are in the waiting room, it's because your desires are manifesting in front of your eyes. So let them. Be patient, assess, shift, but wait, because I want to say the glory is here. I don't know if that's right, but it is here. And everything you ask for is yours. All of your desires. It's here. You just have to be patient and know that you got it. And in the waiting room, that's really our only job. Patience, my love, patience. Patience. That was my message, because I know I needed that this AM, and apparently somebody else needed it. I was like, what? And then I pulled this, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to go back. I think I pulled this either last night or the first night of our live. So this is very interesting that this keeps coming up. But be patient and know that whatever is for your higher good, it's coming to you. You just wait patiently, assess, and make sure that you're hitting high lows. When you feel low, vibrate high in the midst of it. That's my Cherette talk for today. Thank you guys for tuning in to Wellness Wednesdays. I will see you guys next week. I might be on a hike when I tune in. We'll see. I'll be in Atlanta because I need my sister circle right now. Okay. I'm tired. Where the drums at? So maybe I'll come at you guys from a little nature. That would be dope. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate everyone who watches, shares, comments, likes, and shares your energy with me on this journey through life. You matter, and I love you so much. And I will see you next week, same time, same place, on Wellness Wednesday. Peace, y'all. See ya.